have been thinking for a while if what we're doing even makes sense. Almost like a little reality kind of check for us. Almost like a little crisis, right? What are we doing? What's our mission? What are we doing this for?
Yeah.
And I think this is what's exciting about change. It's the unknown. It's the question. It's being forced to make a decision and to reflect, right? Is this really what I want to do? And if so, what do I want to do with it? But something said we both need to change. And a change to the name, I think, is coming.
100%.
A rebrand is necessary. What the is the Coffee Breakup?
Yeah.
Right? We thought it was a good name, and to a certain degree, I thought it was different.
I thought it was cool because people were like, "Yo, the Coffee Breakup." You know, you guys are like, I thought it was cool, and at the time, it made sense.
Sure.
You'd wear the suit, you'd make the coffee. About that, episodes for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Coffee breakup. We're breaking up your day. You know, like enjoy us throughout the day.
And we're talking about breakups, but also makeups. A little bit of everything around relationships.
Sure.
But it's time to broaden.
Yes, to broaden the spectrum and see where life takes us. I'm not saying that we have a plan because we don't. And don't get me wrong. I love talking to people about relationships and dating. When people have problems. I love helping people. And so I choose to believe that there are other topics and other ways where we can help people and branch out into a variety of topics and discussions and still stay true to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Forgot about it. It's been so long. What's up, everybody?
So we are in a different environment.
Space.
Different environment, different space.
Sure.
And I think a big topic that I want to talk about, especially after so long that we haven't been able to record, has been change.
Sure.
There's been a lot of change that's been happening to our lives, and we've been talking about it so many times on our podcast episodes, especially as of recently. You know, I got married, you got married, you have a kid. As you can see, the space is different than what it was before. And, you know, there's just a lot of change that happens, and I think it's important to embrace change. Change is scary.
Yeah.
Change is different. And I think it's something that I've been wanting to talk about because change is necessary.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's important to embrace change of in any aspect of your life. And this is one of them. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about, you know, kind of like our lives, what's been going on. You know, we've been missing. And I'll start. This used to be a garage.
Yes.
Used to be a garage. I now live in a home.
Homeowner.
With my wife.
Homeowner Chris.
And, you know, long-term goal is, you know, we are closer to the family now, which I think it's
very nice.
Something that we've been wanting for a long time. My parents are getting older, and the idea will be to eventually have children. And I think it's a luxury that we have the opportunity to have a home that's close to both of our families. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure maybe you'd be like, man, if only it were like that, you know, because you have a kid, the idea would be we have a kid and we'd have the support system.
100%.
Right. And I think it's invaluable to have that. And I'm realizing now, the older that I get, how important family is, how important relationships are. And, you know, I'm very close to my wife's family. I'm close to my family. And now, literally, physically, I'm closer to them. Yeah. And I think it's exciting for the next chapter of my life. And I think at one point, you know, getting married was scary for me. You know, that change. We've talked about in other episodes how everything you do that's different is going to be a little scary. Sure. Any type of change, whether it's going to be a new job. When you first start somewhere, you're like, man, I got to learn the system. In fact, some people never leave their job, even though it's a shit job, because they're afraid of interviewing or what kind of questions are they going to ask me. And then I'm going to be an idiot to start, and I don't want to feel uncomfortable. And I think that's what change is all about. So, you know, now that we're married, at first I was like anti-marriage. I really don't think it changes much. I get why, but at the end of the day, it does come with a lot of other responsibilities as a husband. And not just because I got married now, it's more important, but, you know, I feel like there's a big responsibility for me, for my partner, to protect her, to nurture her, to make sure that she's okay. And now more than ever, because of the responsibility of, like, I'm her husband, you know, like, this is like it, right? I think that's a mentality people should go into when they get married, because it's a big job. It's huge. It shouldn't change anything in life, but it does put a title on it that kind of weighs on you, almost like it does mean something, right? It's almost like if you go into I work at a bank, you walk into the branch, I want to speak to a manager. You know, that's the role, right? And I see that with being a husband. So even that for one point was a little scary, and you get into it and it's not that bad. Changes really isn't that bad. It's the fear that we have of facing something different.
The step right before, almost.
It's
like sometimes you're just gonna jump into that deep end of the pool.
Of course. And I think I read I think I actually saw it on a podcast once with Joe Rogan, or someone was talking about how it's like, in order to get through obstacles, you got to go right through it. You can't be running away from it. I think it was about cattle or something like that. I forgot what it was, but it's like a storm where I forgot what it was, goes one opposite way. Like they're always running away from it, but the only way to really pass it is to go through it.
Right.
And I think that's with every obstacle in life. It's like that. It's the fear of having to do it at first. It's scary, but on the other side, it's so much more rewarding. And for instance, now I'm in a home right now. There's so many things I have to change and upgrade and paint and the plants and the grass and the furniture. And it's almost like, fuck, this is so frustrating. However, it's also rewarding. Yeah. And I think that comes with any aspect of life that needs change. I'm on a rant. I want you to kind of cut me off a little bit.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, so much has happened and changes for us, like our personal lives. And I'd love for us to like talk about it. And obviously we're transitioning to us together as a podcast and how we've changed. But you're right. I had a son 9 months ago. My wife gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, and when we first found out, I was, petrified. I was so afraid of becoming a father, of being responsible for another human being. It's the biggest responsibility you could think of.
And if I may ask, it wasn't like you guys were like, okay, let's plan.
No, we were far from it. Like there was no doubt that I loved, Claudia. I wanted to marry her. None of that. Yeah, it was more of just like, we had our freedoms. We would travel. We'd see different things and explore. And it was so curious about everything. And still, there was familiarity.
Yeah. There was familiarity with your life of what it
100%. 100%. And there was a sense of independence where, hey, you down to go somewhere and hop on a plane and take off next month, and like she'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And one of the many things I loved about Claudia is the fact that she's so like spontaneous and down for everything and anything. And so obviously when we found out that we were having a baby, it was everything kind of changed, right? We talked about change. That's one of the biggest changes that could happen to you, because it's no longer you and your partner. And there's so many other variables that go into it. And then we were like going through the pregnancy and making sure the baby's healthy, finances, where we're going to live, what we're going to do. Now you got to get this, you got to get a baby shower. Okay, this, and then car seat, stroller, which one to pick out, breastfeeding, formula. I could talk to you here for hours on what goes on at the other end of it, and everybody who's a parent will understand and will know. But it put my life upside down, and it doesn't mean for worse. It doesn't mean that I'm worse off. If anything, the opposite. But how I feel about it now, I never thought I would feel about it, 18 months ago. So I'm honestly blessed. I can't imagine my life without my son. And that was that my wife was, I think, more acceptant of the fact that we would be having a baby than I was. It took me a little bit. And
this was when she was pregnant?
When we found out. At first I was like, this does not really feel real. Like this has to be a mistake.
Are we sure we want to do this? Like, is this really happening?
Let's take another test, kind of like, hey, maybe this is a false positive. Sorry. And then you realize, no, this is really happening. So it was scary. It was scary, but I honestly, it's kind of a cliche thing. Like, oh my God, this is like, I wouldn't say I was born to be a father. I don't really think that, but I feel like it comes so natural. I can't unsee myself being a father. I can't not be one. And so it has changed my life entirely. And so, talking about your changes and my changes, and, obviously everybody makes their own choices, but that was a huge decision that we said, okay, we're going to have this kid, we're going to have this baby. And it honestly, it made my life so much better, but it also has been a challenge, right? Like, for us to get together, for us to record, for us to create other things and be, I'm sure the audience has witnessed it, because like somebody even asked me the other day, like one of my works, like, hey, are you still doing the podcast? And it's like, we've been so consumed by life, and as better as anybody else, like life moves fast. And so sometimes some certain things, different seasons in life, and sometimes you got to refocus and reshape, and you know what, and reevaluate of where you are and where you want to be. And so, being a parent has kind of helped me do that in a way. So, it's been a challenge, but it's also been a blessing.
But I think that's also what's beautiful about change, right? It forces you to kind of adapt, to morph, to evolve to a certain degree. We talk a little bit about my change, talk a little bit about your change, a little bit about our change, right? We have been thinking for a while if what we're doing even makes sense. Almost like a little reality kind of check for us, almost like a little crisis, right? What are we doing? What's our mission? What are we doing this for? Yeah. And I think this is what's exciting about change. It's the unknown. It's the question. It's being forced to make a decision and to reflect, right? Is this really what I want to do? And if so, what do I want to do with it? When we started this, and I kind of want to take people back a little bit, so for those who don't know, we started this right around the pandemic. And it wasn't even like, oh, it's the pandemic, we should start a podcast like everyone else is doing. This is something that I've been wanting to do out of this random thought of me. I just wanted to give people advice. Marvin was the fuel to the fire for us to come together to do this with, his writing and the books that he's written about love and relationships, which is how it started.
Sure,
right?
100%.
And then that's when we kind of came together, where I was more of like this vocal person of wanting to help people, and Marvin was able to do that within his writing and kind of sharing with people. And then we both were getting feedback of, man, I'd love to hear you guys talk about what it is that you guys are talking about. And at that time, it was about relationships. I feel like at the time, and again, I'm like, man, I think podcasting is the way. We went to a seminar.
Yes.
Went to the podcast seminar. Because I'm like, and he's like, for what? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe there's something that we can contribute to in society. And what is it that we love talking about? And it was about love. It was about finding love. And most importantly, being in Miami, which was so confusing, and what do things mean, the red flags, how superficial things were, vanity, the bullshit, the new Miami versus the old Miami, the OG Miami, right, of what it used to be. Now it almost feels like when you think about Miami, you think of Brickell, and the people in Brickell are from New York. It's not even Miami, right? The people, they say they hate Miami, but they've only been within a 4-block radius of Brickell. But this started of us wanting to really talk about, I think, just being transparency on dating relationships. What do things mean? What does it mean when a guy says this or when a girl says that? What have you gone through and how have you adapted? Again, change. And I think for the longest time, we started this, again, during the pandemic, and we're doing this still to this day. Is it still what we want to talk about? Yeah. Right? Do we still want to talk about the same things? For us, it feels so redundant. For you, maybe if you're a new listener, a new watcher, you're probably seeing this for the first time and you're like, what the hell are these guys even talking about? For 5 years, we talked about relationships, and you can go back and you can see all that. And I still believe we'll talk about relationships, maybe about the things that we've already talked about. We get questions that get submitted we've been the same questions sometimes. Yeah, I get it. It's cool. I think it's part of the nature of the game, right? It's the nature of the beast. It's always going to be the same thing. However, we do want to adapt. We want to talk about new things that we care about. I think ultimately, if you're a viewer and you're watching us for relationship advice, I think you'll learn a lot. But if you're only here for relationship advice, I think you're going to be disappointed. If you're here for genuine conversations of two guys trying to figure out life and what our experience has been with love and how we've been able to adapt from being, I don't want to say fuckboys, but being kind of like
all over the place.
All over the place is a good way to put it. To what we love and kind of what it is that we enjoy talking about and what piques our interest. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of goes above a whole broad spectrum of conversations. Sure. And we also, again, take in questions. And I think this is all part of the change that we're trying to accomplish. Yeah. I don't even know what it is that we're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about. But one, I'd like to say I'm happy that I'm doing it with you. Yes. But I also feel like, it's all a part of evolution. And I think that anyone who is stuck in a position or in a thought process or in a situation where they're like, I feel like something needs to change. Yeah. It is okay to be confused. It is okay not to know. I think what's important is that you acknowledge it, you voice it, and you take action. And I think that's kind of in the stage that we are right now. Yeah. Where we're trying to come up with change.
100%. And for the longest, and we didn't even talk about this until I think December, but I've been feeling like this for a while actually. Because
I think we've both been like here
on 100%,
but not here.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love talking to people about relationships and dating, and people have problems. I love helping people. I love trying to be, another voice, an outside voice who can kind of help people understand where they are and where they want to be, and get them to where they want to be and help them out of a really bad decision, a bad place. Just kind of how you helped me out of my bad place so many years ago. I want to be that person that you were for me, for somebody else. And I truly believe in that. I truly believe in our mission. And it's funny because a couple of weeks ago I went to a restaurant with Claudia, and there was a server, and she was like, "Hey, my mom loves listening to you guys. Your podcast is awesome." And it doesn't, we're not like celebrities or anything like that, but it's refreshing when you hear people say, "You know what? I actually listen to you guys. I watch you guys, and I really appreciate
you popped
what
up
guys
on.
do."
I saw you guys on Instagram. I was like, wait, I know these guys.
Yeah. Like, I really appreciate what you guys do, and it's like, I love that. I love hearing from people that watch us and take the time to listen to us. But for so many years, like, we've talked about cheating and this and that and relationships, and some of these conversations are like just so redundant. And I'm like, I'm 32 now. I'll be 33. I have a son. I'm married. I have a beautiful wife. Like, I'm in a different chapter in my life, and so I don't want to necessarily talk about 50-50 anymore, first dates or this and this. And it's like, I'm not like thinking I'm better than anybody else who's still in that position, but I feel like it would be hypocritical in a sense, because I'm like so far removed from that. Like, I don't want to talk about 50-50. I don't want to talk about going to somebody's phone. It's like, we're adults. We're like, we always talk about everything is a choice. And so I choose to believe that there are other topics and other ways where we can help people and branch out into a variety of topics and discussions, and still stay true to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's so much about, helping other people. What I want is to just be genuine to myself. And I'll be honest with you. And I'm getting somewhere with this. I think we're both pretty cool people. I have friends. You have friends. Hell, if you were to hang out with us in person, I think you fuck with us, right?
Yeah.
So I think no matter what we talk about, what I want to do is create a conversation where we can all just fuck with each other. That's kind of what I want. However, and I do want to challenge you a little bit on this, it almost does feel, I don't want you to feel like it's hypocritical. It does feel a little bit redundant. But at the same time, I think based on how far we've come, especially being in healthy relationships, being married, having a fucking kid, I think we have a lot of value to give to the relationship market. Anyone who's new starting dating or going through, 50-50, who should pay for this and that, I still feel like, because things always change also. Change, we're talking about change.
Yeah.
How we felt one day may not be the same. And also, society also wants us to change. What we thought first made sense, now probably it's like, well, maybe now this is how it is right now.
Yeah.
So I always think that there's an opportunity to talk about relationships and dating and 50-50. And I think that we're both pretty credible, not just with the research that we've done, with the guests that we've had, with the conversations that we've had here on this podcast, but also outside. There is always an opportunity for us to coach and what's the word I'm looking for? Train, educate. Encourage, right? But there's just more. So with that, we started the Coffee Breakup.
Yeah.
Because I was making coffee in the morning, and
work,
I had thought on my end, I'm like, I'm going to, make coffee, and I would make coffee, I think, once or twice. And I'm like, oh, man, the coffee you make in the morning is fire. And I'm like, let me leverage that, right? And then breakup, well, we talk about relationships, and people break up in relationships, but we also want to break up your day by having a 30 to an hour episode of us talking. This is kind of what change looks like. You're seeing it live literally right now. But something said we both need to change. And a change to the name, I think, is coming.
100%.
A rebrand is necessary. What the fuck is the Coffee Breakup?
Yeah.
Right? We thought it was a good name, and to a certain degree, I thought it was different.
I thought it was cool because people were like, "Yo, the Coffee Breakup." You guys are like. I thought it was cool, and at the time, it made sense.
Sure.
You'd wear the suit, you'd make the coffee. About that, episodes for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Coffee breakup. We're breaking up your day. Enjoy us throughout the day.
And we're talking about breakups, but also makeups. A little bit of everything around relationships.
Sure.
But it's time to broaden.
Yes, to broaden the spectrum and see where life takes us. I'm not saying that we have a plan, because we don't. But so many times, like, I didn't have a plan when I found out that I had a baby. I'm sure you didn't have a plan when you kind of stumbled on with your career, where you are now. The banking, buying a house, where home ownership, like what am I doing here? Like there's no blueprint to life.
I got a promotion, and I'll be honest with you, my bankers the other day, they're brand new into banking, and they're like, man, I just feel like I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, and I'm just bullshitting this client. Yeah. Not in a bad way, it's just like I don't know what I'm doing. And I go up to him, like right into his face, and I'm like, neither do I. And I'm their boss, right? Yeah, yeah. I think that's what life is. It's not about fake it till you make it, but it's try your best in anything that you do. And sometimes it's scary because it's different. It's change. It's something that you're not used to. It's something new. But I think you just have to show up.
100%.
You have to be there.
100%. And this is what we're doing today. We're showing up. We're in the studio. It's not perfect. The lighting is not ideal. Maybe the audio isn't perfect. But we're like, let's make the lighting
definitely
happen.
Is not perfect.
Sure. But we wanted to say, let's get in front of people. Let's have people scrolling. Let's have people listening to us because it's been a little bit of a hiatus. But I don't want people thinking that we just abandoned the podcast, abandoned the mission, abandoned who we are either. It's just we're still trying to figure ourselves out too.
And I got to be honest, man. Like I actually enjoy sitting down and shooting the shit with Marvin. Like there was a point in time that all we would do was work. And he's like, man, sometimes I just want to hang out with you as my boy.
Yeah. And
I feel like that's kind of what I want this to be. I want this to be like a hybrid where, he's my friend and we're always talking and shooting the shit. And we also have to do this. But how can we make this more enjoyable where it didn't feel like a job? Where I have to come in here and like, now I got to talk about this fucking topic that I don't really care about anymore.
That has nothing to do with where I am. And I don't give a shit about your first date or this and this and this, like your experience and this. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I truly believe that the audience picks that up. Like, there's been times where we would record and the minute I would see you, I'm like, okay, he's not having a good day. Maybe you were. Remember, there were times you come in and you were like, I'm nonstop working. I'm here now. Like, I don't really want to be here. And it's okay to admit that, but it's like the audience will pick that up 100%.
However, I was good at turning a switch.
Yes.
Like, I would be okay. I'm working. I'm here. Turn the switch on. Podcast Chris is here. And that, I think, is what got exhausting. Where it's like,
yeah, of course.
Am I me?
Yeah, because it's almost like, it's almost, you feel like you have to act. Not that you weren't genuine about, because you were a genuine person, but it's like, if I have to flip on the camera for you to be like, oh, hey guys,
hi, welcome back, guys.
Yeah, and it's like when you really like, fuck, I don't want to be here. And the camera turns
off, and I'm like,
like, let's get the fuck out of here. Exactly. So it's like, I don't want this to be that.
And that's, I think, what our calling was. That's what was the itch that we needed scratched, where telepathy was like, I go to him one day and I'm like, yo, have you ever thought about like changing the name, whatever? And he fucking turns around to me and he goes, it's like you're in my brain, dude.
Yeah. Last time we got together in my apartment and we were recording, and he's like, what did I bring this up for you? And I'm like, bro, fuck, you read my fucking mind, because I've been on this too. And maybe because it was the end of the year, maybe we're like, okay, like, what do we want out of this year? What do we want to accomplish? Do we want to do the same things? No. And it's like, we don't want to continue to go through the motions. So we don't have any answers. We don't know exactly what the future would hold. But, we just want you guys to be part of it. And we want, to be transparent and let you guys know, like, hey, we haven't abandoned you guys. We're just trying to still figure out what this will be.
I mean, and I'll be honest with you. This isn't even about you guys, really. It's not. Like, I want to help. But at the end of the day, I don't want you guys also to feel like this is about you guys. We should enjoy doing this.
Oh,
this
no, 100%.
should be something that we do for fun. And it just so happens that an audience is like, I fuck with those guys. Yeah. They're fucking real. The conversations they have, like, I can get behind. I feel like I can turn it on, and I feel like I'm part of the conversation.
Yeah,
like I'm listening to them.
Yeah.
We've had that.
Sure.
And that's kind of what I want, And I want to show up myself to talk about whatever I want with you, and then have guests on and just feel like, okay, we're having a good time here. And it was getting to the point that it wasn't feeling like that.
Damn.
So I say all this. This is a live, well, not live for you, but live for us. A live example of what change looks like. The unknown, being unsure, being faced with, hey, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't even know if it's the right decision, but I know something has to be different. Whatever it may be in your life that you're facing, whatever it may be a situation that you're like, I don't know why this doesn't feel right. Maybe change is required. Change is okay. I'll give you an example. One of my old coworkers, he was so stuck in his job and he would complain. I'm like, go interview. As his boss, go interview. And he's like, what do you mean go look for something else. If you're not happy, I don't want you to be here if you're not happy.
Yeah.
So see if there's something better out there. See if there's someone who will pay you more. I want you to get paid more. I would rather you be in a situation that you're happy or not find someone else that's happy here. But if you're not happy here, what's the point of you being here? And I think that's what life is all about. I think that's what that's why change is important. So whatever situation that you're in, again, this is what it looks like. It's not knowing, it's being able to voice it. It's being able to just talk.
Sure.
And sometimes by you just spitting out words, things start landing, everything else will fall, and things start become clear. But if you just stay in the same situation, if you're stuck, whether it's in a bad relationship, in a bad job, or you just don't know what it is, find some sort of clarity of voicing it. Mm-hmm. Someone you love, someone you trust, hell, even a therapist. That's what you want to do. But I think it's okay to feel uncertain. It's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing. Yep. But I think that's what life's all about sometimes.
100%. And I'm glad that we were able to kind of sit here and talk about it and kind of have people watch us as we go through the process of figuring out what the fuck do we want this to be.
Yeah. And so with that, I kind of want to throw it to you guys. Perhaps you're like, you know what, man, I really like it when you used to talk about this. Or, man, your personality, or maybe someone who actually knows us, like, look, you guys have always talked about this. Maybe this is what you guys should be doing.
Yeah, what's your input on that? Or what do you think about this direction?
Yeah, a name change is imminent. If you even want to contribute to the name change. We still have the coffeebreakup@gmail.com.
Yes, we do.
Let's use that for now. Coffeebreakup@gmail.com. Our Instagram is still Coffee Breakup Pod. Our TikTok is The Coffee Breakup.
The Coffee Breakup.
Wherever you're following, wherever you're seeing, this is probably on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, find a way to DM us, comment to us, write to us. Sure. We are open to listening to what ideas you have, to maybe what thought process you have, to any potential names that you may have. Maybe you're like, this name feels like it's right for you guys. And don't get me wrong, I've been asking ChatGPT. This guy's been down a rabbit hole.
I can't.
With names.
I don't know how much further I can go.
What was it called? Open throat. You like that one?
I saw that one. That was good.
There's a lot. But the point is, this is what it looks like. I'm asking you guys for help. And it's okay to ask for help, I think. It's kind of the big point here. Ask for help. It's fine. Change is important. Change is necessary. Change is scary. But
yes. With that being said,
the other side of change is fun.
Yes, which I think we're like approaching it, which I'm excited for, and it's why I was looking forward to being here today. I know you had a long day, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see what's next for you and for I. So stay tuned and see what's gonna happen. If you guys give a shit about what's happening in our lives, but I'm sure some of you guys do. If you don't, it's been a ride.
Yeah, if you don't, it's okay. I mean, I get it. I mean, if I don't fuck with someone, it's okay not to fuck with them, but
sure.
Maybe you guys do fuck with us. And if that's the case, hope you hang on and enjoy the ride.
And we'll see you guys at some point. See. Thank you guys.
Maybe.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Peace out, guys. Thanks for everything.
Ciao.